Just kidding. Hi guys, Real Chris Gunter here. Tonight is my first ever YouTube video on my new YouTube channel, so thank you for joining me. The purpose of my channel is to do movie reviews, video game reviews, and also to document some of my travels as a flight attendant. Tonight, I'm going to be reviewing a movie that's a sequel to a franchise that's very special to me, the Saw franchise. Those of you who know me know I'm a huge fan of the Saw franchise. I'm a Saw fanatic. So when I heard they were making a sequel, man, I was really excited. Went out and bought my new shirt, went to see it on opening night. Now, one thing I'll tell you before I start this review is that you should know I am a Saw fanatic, meaning I'm going to go see the Saw movies, whether they're really, really good or whether they're terrible. I go and see them all. With that being said, I would say the purpose of this review is to give you a spoiler-free review. If you want to see the movie without knowing any information at all, I would recommend turning off the video right now. I'm going to give a spoiler-free review, but we're going to talk about the movie, okay? So, if that's you, turn off the video. Alright, if you're still watching, I'm assuming you want to know some information. So, here's the thing. This is the first Saw film we've had since 2010. And it's 13 years after the original Saw film came out in 2004. It's a little hard to believe that it's been that long, but it's been a crazy ride. I saw the first 7 films on opening night. Saws 1 through 7, excuse me, 2004 through 2010. Saw all of them opening night. Saw this one on opening night. I gotta tell you, this was a pretty good movie, okay? It wasn't a masterpiece. It wasn't a great film by any stretch, but it was a pretty good movie. Much better than the 7th film, without question. And I would say it was better than the 5th film as well. Overall, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Which is an okay review. Not great, but okay. You're probably like, 6 out of 10 isn't that good, but the 7th film I'd probably give like a 2 out of 10. So this is a huge improvement. So, without further ado, I'll give you some of the things I liked and some of the things I didn't like. The first thing I liked is the obvious, the fact that it's a Saw film. I love the Saw movies. I have a self-appointed PhD in Saw, so I was very excited to see another Saw movie. The other thing I really liked about this film was it was a fresh take on the franchise. One of the complaints about some of the Saw films, particularly 4, 5, 6, and 7, was it started to get repetitive. It started to get predictable. People started saying, well, if you've seen one of the Saw movies, you've seen them all. This one was a fresh take on the series. It was filmed differently. It was shot differently. It was shown differently. The games were different. The games and traps were updated. A new cast of characters. The franchise is definitely going in a new direction. I really like that. Now, one thing I'll say that it did pay homage to the classics. You know, in particular the first 3 films. So I give them a lot of credit for that. That's always nice, just for legacy purposes. But the film definitely is a fresh take. There's no doubt about that. I really enjoyed that part. The games were very creative. I give them that. Give them credit for that. We saw some things in the games that we've never seen before, which is pretty impressive and pretty difficult when you're 8 films in. But the games were very creative. I really enjoyed that. I liked the new characters. The new characters were likable. You rooted for them. You wanted them to do well. You wanted them to make the right decisions. And in many cases, you wanted them to win the games. In some of the later movies in the Saw franchise, you sort of got to the point where you didn't really like the characters. You didn't really care about them because so many people died and every movie was a new cast of characters. The characters were likable in this movie. So, as a new Saw film, the characters were likable, the games were fresh, the games were creative, the story arc and the storyline itself was fresh and creative. Billy the Puppet was very creative. Billy the Puppet, for those of you who may not know. Everything looked good. Now, with that being said, I'd be lying if I didn't sit here and admit there were some things I did not like about the film. So here it is, okay? There was one major thing I didn't like about it. One of the complaints about the series before, in particular from Saw's 4 on, basically, Saw 4, 5, 6, and 7, was the fact that one of the great things that made the first 3 films so good, the holy grail of the franchise, was each film moved forward in time and took major steps forward. One of the complaints about Saws 4, 5, 6, and 7 was that with each movie it seemed to go back to Saw 3 and recreate the ending, or Saw 2 and add something to that, or Saw 1 and recreate the beginning or the end of Saw 1. It never seemed to take a big step forward in the timeline. This film actually takes place 10 years after the events of the final Saw. So that's kind of neat. And however, they just couldn't help themselves at the end. They had to go back, spoiler, they had to go back and recreate some of the events of the first trilogy, basically, Saws 1 through 3. They couldn't help themselves. And it was a little disappointing because there was a moment in the movie, there was a shock value moment in the movie where an event takes place. I'm not going to give it away, but there's an event that takes place in this film, Jigsaw, that actually made me feel like and believe for a moment that this was a complete reboot. And I thought we were starting all over with a brand new franchise. And when this event happened, I literally went, yes, in the theater. Like I pumped my fist and went, yes! I couldn't believe it. And it made me believe that for about 10-15 minutes. I was really excited. And then the final twist came on, and you see, oh, they're going back and they're refreshing and they're adding on to what took place in Saw 1 and Saw 2 and Saw 3. So I was a little disappointed. To me, that knocked it down a couple of notches. That was the biggest thing. That was the biggest issue I had with the film right there. I really wish, with the direction they were going in the film, I almost wish they would have just kept it full reboot style. That knocked it down a couple of pegs. I probably would have given this film an 8 out of 10 if it weren't for that, but that sort of killed it for me a little bit. But all in all, I give it a 6 out of 10, which is a pretty good review. I would say if you like all of the Saw films, you're going to love this one. If you hate all the Saw films, you're probably going to hate this one too. But if you've never seen any of the Saw movies, which I think is a good possibility because the first Saw took place 13 years ago in the year 2004. The 7th Saw film took place in 2010. So it's a good chance that there may be some people out there that were kids when the first Saw film was made, or maybe not even born. I would say if you've never seen any of the Saw movies, give this one a chance. I would say you can enjoy this one without having seen any of the other Saw movies. You can pick this one up and really enjoy it. I would say give the movie a chance. You never know. You just might become a Saw fanatic. Thanks for tuning in. I've got lots of movie reviews coming forward. We've got a furious finish to the year here. We've got Murder on the Orient Express. We've got Jumanji, Justice League, Star Wars. We've got an Maze Runner finale to that series coming up the beginning of next year. I plan on reviewing all those films and more. Please hit the subscribe button. Real Chris Gunter. Thanks for tuning in. It's been my pleasure.